Welcome to Soul Sense. I'm Mark, and we're talking about the two most important things in marriage today. And I remember probably 20 years ago, I was taking a lunch break and had the Christian radio station here in Dallas on, and Max Lucado was on. And he had one of those small clips that he used to do, and he said, I've been married all these years. I don't know if it was 30 years or something like that. And he said, I found that the two most important things in marriage are forgiving and asking for forgiveness. And it made such an impression on me. I've thought about it ever since then with the counseling I do, the marriage counseling, and with my marriage of 35 years now. And I'm convinced more than ever that he was right about that. The two most important things in a marriage are forgiving and asking for forgiveness. Now, when you think about forgiving, let's go with that first. It takes humility. You have to embrace the hurt that has been done. You have to own that. You have to embrace the anger, that's the injustice, and you make a choice to forgive. Somebody said, don't wait until you feel like forgiving. You'll never get there. You have to make a choice to forgive once you've acknowledged. Now, some people want to do it too quickly. Oh, yeah, I forgive you. Oh, don't worry about it. Oh, it's no big deal. Oh, it's okay. That's not really forgiveness. That's burying it, denying it, covering it up. But when I forgive, I own it, even if the other person hasn't completely owned it. Now, if they haven't owned it, that's something different. That's about reconciliation, and that's about some of the broken trust. But I can make a choice to forgive regardless of how much my spouse has owned something. But I have to make a choice. Now, what about asking for forgiveness? I will tell you, I've had so many people come in my office that have said, I could count on one hand or maybe one or two fingers all the times my spouse has asked me to forgive them. Someone may have grown up in a house where it was just rarely, if ever, done, and they're not used to it. Others, it's that humility. They haven't overcome the pride that it takes to humble yourself and ask for forgiveness. Matthew 5:25, one of my favorite marriage verses, says, agree with your adversary quickly. And why does Jesus say that, and how would that apply to marriage? Well, if my spouse has said, oh, you've hurt me or you've done that, and there's any truth in that, which of course there almost always is, owning it is my first step towards asking for forgiveness. As a matter of fact, owning it or taking responsibility is one of the 5 parts of apology. Regret is 1, I'm sorry. Responsibility is 2, I was wrong. Repentance, or a plan of repentance, this is what I'll do next time, is a 3rd. A 4th is restitution. And then a 5th is request, will you forgive me? It goes so far for me to own something with my spouse and then say, honey, will you forgive me? And I do it in a sincere way. Now, don't get me wrong. The bigger the misdeed, the more of those 5 parts of apology you'll need to do. But I want you to come back and meditate on these 2 most important things in a marriage. I think they're maybe the 2 most important things in any relationship. Part of what they do is a built-in accountability. I know that if I hurt my wife, I'm going to ask for forgiveness. I don't use that as an excuse to do the hurt or the pain. It actually has the opposite effect. As we forgive each other, it's like it says in Romans 2, it's God's kindness that leads us to repentance. So what it ought to be doing is taking me towards repentance and moving me away from the things that I've hurt my spouse with, or my spouse has hurt me with. So I want you to hold on to the two most important things in marriage: forgiving and asking for forgiveness. Thanks very much. That's all for now. And remember, you can always reach us at SamaritansWell.com.